Hello everyone, this is Komal Mathur, a legal intern at Lexis & Company and a law student at Manipal University, Jaipur. I'm glad to have this opportunity of interning with Lexis & Company, which has given me a chance to improve my skills and present this in front of you all. So the topic or purpose of our today's video is to discuss about rights of a prisoner in India. So let us start discussing with a brief introduction first. So the laws governing inmates' rights has evolved throughout the time. The rights of a prisoner are not codified under Indian law, and there is also no comprehensive legislation that addresses prisoners' rights and governs their behavior while incarcerated. The country's judiciary, on the other hand, has repeatedly given the inmates proper respect and upheld their fundamental rights. In the absence of comprehensive law, it has established precedents and principles defending prisoners' rights that not only advise but also bind other Indian courts. So let us discuss something about its history. As previously said, prisoners' rights have been a work of progress. From Platek versus Adderhold, the case from USA, in which the courts held that they had no authority to interfere with the conduct of jail or its rules or regulations, to Johnson versus Avery, in which the court recognized that certain rights of prisoners are very important for the life of the prisoners and their dignity, the transformation has been gradual. In Indian context, the country's judiciary has regularly utilized Constitution's fundamental rights to free detainees. In the well-known case of Charles Sobrach, through the Marys Anderson versus Superintendent, Tihar Jail, the Supreme Court Judge, Justice Krishna Iyer, held that imprisonment does not spell the end of the fundamental rights, though by a realistic reappraisal, courts will refuse to recognize the full panoply of Part 3 enjoyed by a free citizen. He went on to say that incarceration is also not only the vengeance or deterrence but also for rehabilitation. Now, what are the prisoners' rights? As previously stated, a human's conviction does not make him non-human. He is still a human being who deserves to be treated as such. He should be granted the same basic human rights as every other guy on the planet. At the same time, he should not be treated as if he were a free man with all life's amenities. His liberty should be subject to some limitations and legal constraints. Furthermore, these limitations must be appropriate. The Supreme Court of US, in the case of Charles Wolf versus McDonald, and the Supreme Court of India in such cases such as DBM Patnaik versus State of Andhra Pradesh and Sunil Patra versus Delhi administration, have both stated emphatically that a prisoner is a human being as well as a natural or legal person. When someone is convicted of a crime, it does not make them a non-person whose rights can be taken away at the whims of the jail administration. As a result, any severe penalty imposed within the jail system is contingent on the absence of the procedural safeguards. Since a long time, the Supreme Court of India has been deliberating with the central and state governments to improve the deteriorating conditions of the prisoners, which is critical due to the overcrowding in prisons, a lack of training facilities, personnel, and poor infrastructure, and the other factors. As a result, it is necessary to invoke the inmates' rights and constitutional protections. Such rights are nullity and betrayal of human faith in the criminal justice delivery system, unless they are spread and applied in each corner and throughout the whole perimeter of the prison. Now, let us discuss about some of the fundamental rights and freedoms for the prisoners. In India, fundamental rights are at the heart of the human rights system. They are the citizens' fundamental rights that cannot be taken away under any circumstance. Some of these rights are also guaranteed to the convicts in the country's law, such as Articles 14, 19, and 21. It cannot, however, impose all the fundamental rights to the benefit of the detainees. The heart of the Article 21 is the right to a fair trial for convicts. Article 19, Clause 5 requires reasonableness in any restriction. An expensive discretion that devolves into arbitrary discrimination in anathema to Article 14. All these assertions are backed up by several lower court and the higher court judgments. The following is a list of some of the important cases. So first, let us discuss about the case of Andhra Pradesh versus Chellaram Krishna Reddy, in which a prisoner was entitled to all the fundamental rights unless the Constitution restricts them. The Supreme Court declared in the state of Maharashtra versus Prabhakar Pandurang Sanjgar that the mere fact that someone is imprisoned cannot deprive him of his basic rights, and that such conditions should not be stretched to the point of depriving a detainment of his fundamental right. In Charles Sobra's versus Central Jail Tihar, it was decided that while all of the rights granted to the convict under the Article 14, 19 and 20, 21 are limited, they are not static. When confronted with adversity, they are compelled to or rather will reach new human heights. Justice Bhagwati followed the rules enunciated out by the Justice Douglas and Justice Marshall in the Francis Cora Mellon versus the Administration UT Delhi. Every prisoner's liberty is of course confined, but the sheer reality of his confinement, but his interest in the limited liberty, left him only more than substantial. Mr. Douglas stated, conviction of a crime does not turn a person into a non-person whose rights are subject to the whims of jail's administration. So any substantial penalty imposed within the system requires procedural safeguards. I have already voiced my views that a prisoner does not lose his basic constitutional rights at the prison gate. And I completely agree with the court's judgment that the interest which are in the interest of the prisoner. Mr. Justice Marshall said. Right, now let us discuss about some of the really important fundamental rights for the prisoners. First is right to personal space, which is one of the most important rights that Indian citizens have. They are an integral aspect of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, and right to life and personal liberty are their important fundamental rights. Another one is right to free of solitary confinement and restraints. Solitary confinement is a type of imprisonment in which the convict or prisoner is held in separate cell from other inmates and has a little or no contact with them. So solitary confinement is intended to teach renowned criminals discipline and to protect other inmates from them. But this is only when special orders are made. This can't be imposed on all the prisoners. Now, another fundamental right which has been important for the prisoner is the personal liberty and the right to life. In a number of cases, Supreme Court has applied the rule of 21 and emphasized its significance in others. It has broadened the meaning of the term life as defined by Field J in the well-known case of Kharagpur versus State of Uttar Pradesh. In this case, the court decided that the term life refers to more than only physical existence, such as that of an animal. Now, another important right is human dignity, which is also a fundamental right according to Article 21. The Constitution guarantees a human being's right to live in dignity. This right is an important aspect of Indian Constitution provision to right to life in Article 21. The concept is that every person's life is valuable and regardless of the circumstance, they should be treated with dignity. Another important right is right to health and medical treatment. This right is also a crucial one because Indian Constitution has clauses that guarantees every citizen the right to the best possible bodily and mental health. Education is also a fundamental right which also prisoners cannot be deprived from. Because of the right to education is a fundamental right, it should also be granted to all the citizens of India along with the prisoners. Furthermore, well-educated inmates should be provided the opportunity to engage in some type of mental or manual constructive labor. Moving towards a conclusion, I would like to say that when legislative and executive branches of government made mistake, the country's court can be claimed to have a particular critical role in protecting the rights of inmates. It has repeatedly acted as a savior for the prisoners, upholding their fundamental rights. It has vigorously exercised its power through the judicial activism, and it has repeatedly invented new remedies and measures to preserve people's right to life and liberty. However, there is still more to be done. In this regard, mass distribution of human rights to inmates, extensive media coverage of prisoners, and the round-the-clock surveillance in the prisoners could be some keys to protecting prisoners' rights and ensuring their secure confinement. A federal and state government must not only provide acceptable living circumstances for prisoners, but also teach them about the rights so that they are not violated by the powerful inside the prisoners. So that's it for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.